Hey guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival. In this one we are going to cover ships and vehicles. So in order to do ships and vehicles, now we're out in space right now, and this is my capital vessel that I've been building on my stream. And it's been going kind of slow, and we've been playing and having a good time. So again, here's a little advertisement. If you want to come out, and I'm looking to put some energy in these things, that way they don't die out while we're in the middle of all this. If you want to come out and hang out with us on the live stream, you're welcome to. It's at www.twitch.tv/Inzainia. You can also just go up to my banner here on the YouTube channel and click the Twitch stream thing. There's a little button up there on the bottom right corner of my banner. It says My Stream. You can click on that, or it might say Twitch now, I'm not sure. But anyhow, as far as the vehicles are concerned, you need some components. You need some parts. The first things that you need to do, we're going to start with we're going to try and start with a ground vessel, but because I'm in space, I'm not sure if it's going to let me place it and do it and build it and use it and fly it and drive it and whatever else, but we're going to find out. You will understand the concept behind how to build one regardless. The first things that you need to do is you need a constructor. You need a large constructor. You cannot do this out of the small one, out of the escape pod. So you have to have moved over and started your base, and then have a large constructor. From the large constructor, you can start building the components that you need. Now, the very first thing that you will definitely need for any vehicle is either a small vessel starter or a ground vessel starter. So we're going to pop that in there and get rid of some of this stuff, so that it's out of our way. And we're going to come down to a ground vessel starter block, and as I had assumed that it might not, it's not going to let us build it in space. So we are going to build the ground vessel last. I know that's backwards, but that's how we're going to do it. We're going to build a small vessel, and then we will fly it to the planet, and then we will build a ground vessel on the planet. Alright, so here we go. First thing you need is a small vessel core, a starter block. In order to make the starter block, you need to make a core, which you make from the constructor. And then you need 8 of these hull blocks. And then you can make a small vessel starter core. So we're going to lay this small vessel starter right there. The way that you lay it out in front of you is the way that this little arrow will be pointing. Let me make this buoyantly clear. The direction of the arrow is the control scheme for the block. So if I hold W, whichever thrusters push that way towards the way the arrow is pointing, that's the way it's going to fly. If I hold S, it's going to do the reverse, etc. So don't put your block up and then build the front of your ship pointing the way that I'm facing now, because when you hit W, you're going to shoot to the right. So make sure that you're looking at that arrow when you first start building. Next thing that you need to do is you need to expand your ship out a little bit. You use hull blocks to make your ship bigger. You can hold control, as you can see. You can drag over, and then you can hold control to extend it out or up if that's the way you want to go. Control makes it do multiple rows along the line of what you're doing. So we're going to make one about that long, not a big deal. And then the next thing that you will need is a cockpit. So we're going to take these cockpits and we're going to put them on here. And then when you go to lay your cockpit, you can see that it always goes on there, starts out the way that it should be pointing. So you lay a cockpit on, and then the next thing that you need is a generator. Once you get the generator, you go place it. You can lay these down, you can twist them, you can put them on there any way that you want to. You can rotate it like this and put it back here in the back, which is generally about how I usually put it. It's like that. You put a generator on there. The next thing that you need is a fuel tank. The fuel tank goes anywhere you want to put it. You can put it any way, so long as it's on the edge and so long as you can access it. This is what you will be putting your fuel cells in to power your generator, so that your generator can power the other components on your ship. Another quick tip. Let's place this first. If you're in the middle of building and you're not sure what you still need for your ship, jump up on top of your ship. Well, maybe we can jump up on top of it. Let's get off that first. Somehow we got some blocks. Oh, wait, no, it's the wrong ship, ain't it? There's the ship. As you can see, we've got a couple ships built here. But you jump up on top of your ship and you hit the P key. It will show you over here what you're missing. It's telling me I'm missing an RCS and I'm missing thrusters. Alright, so then of course the next component that we need to put on here is the RCS. As you will notice, all of the components, individual components, have different little blue dots, green dots, and stuff like that. Depending upon what vehicle you are building, determines which ones of these you want to craft. As you can see, there are multiple different, I got 2 different kinds of RCS. You can make like 3 different kinds inside the constructor. You look up here and you can see that red is for base, yellow is for small vessel, or capital vessel rather. Green is for small vessel, and then blue is for ground vessel. And you can hover it and it'll tell you objects for ground vessel. So I'm building a small vessel, so I have to use the green stuff. When we go to the planet and we start building the small or the ground vessel, we will then be using the blue stuff. Some of the stuff, as you can see to the left here, is universal. This cockpit will work in either or. This generator will work in either or. So will this fuel tank. So you don't have to worry too much about them. But you also have to consider that there are capital vessel cockpits, which will have a yellow. There are capital vessel power plants and fuel tanks, that were generators and fuel tanks that have yellows. So make sure that you build the right components for the ship that you want to produce. Alright, so now we need to get our green RCS because this is a small vessel. And you can put this again anywhere you want to. We'll put it right there. Alright, as we stand, when I jump on here and hit P, it keeps jumping me for some reason. Alright, now when I hit P, the only thing I'm missing are thrusters. Now, how do thrusters work, Zane? To an extent, the way that thrusters work is the more the merrier. Not to an extent. You need so many to control your vessel. The more that you put on, usually the easier it will be to control. You can use the insert, delete, home, end, page up and page down keys, as you can see, to rotate. Like right now I'm rotating it along that axis. But if I go to this one, I can start rotating it along this axis. And then if I hit Z, I can rotate it and it'll just spin. See, that one, it'll just spin no matter how many times I hit it. So, first things first, these are directional thrusters. There are multiple kinds of thrusters. Do we have a crafter on any of these vessels? These aren't mine. This is Kara. No, it looks like all they've got is oxygen. Alright, let's run down here. I want to show you the thrusters real quick. There are multiple kinds of thrusters. There are regular thrusters, there are directional thrusters, there are armored, etc. Alright, this is a regular thruster for a small vessel. This is going to force out 90 newtons. This is another regular thruster, but it's armored. This one has a little bit more armor, and it only pushes out at 80 newtons. This one is a slanted. If you put this on, it's basically for putting it on where you've got a slant, where you got a slanted wall like that right there, that slant ramp that goes up. If I put a slanted thruster right there, the wall would match with a thruster hanging out. So it's just a regular thruster again. See, 85 newtons, but it's got that little bit right there, that angled block. It's not flat and square like these others. It's just decorative mainly for going on a vessel that the wall itself is inclined. And then you have thruster directionals. These work in conjunction with your RCS and allow you to pivot and all that other stuff. So you need directional thrusters. These the RCS control and will allow you to, when you go left and right with your mouse to look, them are the ones that do that. Them are the ones that make your vessel turn. If you don't put any of these on there, when you go left and right, up and down, your ship won't spin, even if you put an RCS on, or at least they wouldn't. I don't think that they will. I can't say I'm positive, but I don't think that they will. We'll find out here in a minute, though, and be 100% positive. So make sure that you're building the right types of thrusters for what you want the vessel to do, is my point. All right, so let's grab these, the control thrusters, or the regular normal thrusters. We'll move this guy up here. And let's put some of these on here. Now, I've got 2 of these built. The reason that I've only got 2 built is because that's really about all you need for this little old dinky thing that I'm going to build. It's not going to be pretty. I'm not going to decorate it. I'm just basically putting something together that we can fly to the planet with, etc. That's it. And I'm going to put one on the front of these power. That way, when I'm going forwards, it takes off really fast forward, and I can slow down really fast forward because these are the stronger thrusters. So let's take a couple blocks and decorate it out just a hair, just so that it matches. And then we can go with these guys. And you can put them on to kind of make it pretty if you want to. There's rounded blocks, all different kinds of blocks that you can use to put on there. So as of right now, this vehicle, if we jump up on top of it, let's hit J. There we go. If we're standing up on top of it and I hit P, there's nothing yellow, so nothing's missing. This vehicle is complete. It will work. Do I still have some power cells? No, of course I threw them all back in there, didn't I? So let's run over here real quick and grab some power. Grab these. Now let's run back over here. I will explain this capital ship before we go to the planet also, so that you guys understand what's going on there. Alright, so now we should be able to jump in the ship, hit the Y key to power it on, and notice it just freaks out. Because I have no directional thrusters on it, nothing. It's just going to wobble in space. Apparently with those thrusters, with the RCS alone, you can turn it. So the RCS doesn't necessarily use the thrusters to turn. Whoa. But I can go, as you can see, I can go forwards, I can go backwards, but I can't go up or down or left or right because I have no thrusters on those sides. So we're going to kind of try and level off a little bit. That's the RCS working. Apparently the RCS doesn't necessarily use the thrusters. Alright, so we're going to hit F now to jump out. We're going to hit J to turn on our jetpack so that we can build on it some more. Where is it? Where you at, ship? Oh, it's above us. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to delete this block, which you can delete the blocks just like everything else. And then we're going to put a directional thruster pointing up. Now what that will do is that will allow us to make the ship go down. And now if we take and we come in here, and we'll destroy that one because it's already busted some. And then we can put a directional thruster there, and then we can turn it over. That will let us push up. Now it's advisable to use 2 directional thrusters to go up, because it makes, on the planet, you're going to need that. The planet, you need 2. So we're going to destroy this. We're going to repair anything that we damaged. And then we're going to put another thruster pointing up. Now we've got 1 pushing down, 2 pushing up. Now all we need are our thrusters going left and right. So we're going to destroy this block. Now this is all preference. You can put as many on the sides as you want. The more that you put on the sides, the faster it's going to move into that direction and shift back and forth between the 2. But there is always still a delay between shifting from one side to the other. Now I've put like 5 or 6 thrusters on one side just to test it. And yes, the left and right, forwards and backwards is faster. You get more control out of it. But that's enough thrusters. I made an extra one so that I could put another one on top. And you can put them anywhere. They do not have to be proportionate to gravity or anything like that. You can have, like, you could put just 2 down thrusters right here, and the whole ship will equally balanced go down. That's not in effect yet for the control of how to go. So now, if we hit Y and we turn the ship on, notice it hovers right. It doesn't freak out and bounce around. All those thrusters are keeping it balanced. If we aim down, you'll have a tendency to go down or to go that direction. So we can hold C now, tap C a little bit, it'll make us go down. You can tap space, it'll make you go up. Left goes left, right goes right, forward goes forward, back goes back. So now we can actually get out and fly this little small vessel. And there we go. We can hit V to get outside, to look around. You can hold Alt and shift the scroll wheel forwards and backwards to zoom in and out. While holding Alt, you can look around. You can see all the thrusters working, keeping it level. And then we can take and we can just spin around. Where's the ship? There we go. And then you can go flying around in space or on the planet. Now, this is a capital vessel. You can drop a capital vessel block and a base block in space. You can just make it and then in space, come fly up into space, find you a spot. We thought that you had to build them. You had to start them on a base in space, but you don't. You can just come into space, drop the block, you just hop out, drop the block right here in space. It'll be blue, and then you can just start building it up. That's what I did with that capital vessel. And what all this is, as you can see, this is all of my work. This was my initial workroom. I built a big square platform that I built a farm on so that I'd have some food so I wouldn't starve. I brought water and oxygen from the planet up with me. And then I built all of my work stuff that I'd need, power, fuel cells, all that stuff here to start building on it. And I had a gravity thing here, but the gravity things do have a range. So I had to move the gravity thing up forward some so that it would get more of the ship while we was inside the ship. And then literally I have personally built this entire ship by hand. And we will go over building towards, in another episode, because there's the symmetry plane needs to be explained and stuff like that, because it makes all this building a lot easier. I'll cover the symmetry stuff at the very end of this, though. That way you guys that need to know it for this can use it. But I've put a gravity generator in here. And once you put a gravity generator in space, you can hit J and you can walk around with inside its sphere of influence, which is pretty big. It's most of this ship. So now I can walk around. As I come in here, you can see on this floor, this is where all of our constructors and storage boxes and stuff are going to go. Over here, we've got this. I've built this massive garden. There's 2 3x3 block sets of 18 that will be planted of each vegetable. There's 4 down here. And then if I come around, there's multiple stairwells, as you can see, to go up. And then you can go up. And then there's multiple stairwells here. More vegetables, more garden, more growing. There's a whole room, whole station upstairs, which is going to be, my medical bay is going to be up there. My kitchen's going to be up there. My personal quarters rooms, I'm going to make about 4 or 5 of those are going to be upstairs. That way the guys that are playing on my server, they've got their own little room, even though you don't use them yet. You may eventually, so we're going to leave them in there. We're going to build it just like it was a real type ship. We're having fun. And if you want to, participate in the building and make some stuff, these are nacelles that I built on the side. These are where all the engines are going to go, right there where that blue ring is. This is all just for looks right now. It's diagram. I went and built the nacelles, or part of the nacelle, last night on the live stream. So we've got both of the nacelles built. You can see I crashed into it. When I did, I had symmetry on, and it messed up the other side too. But we're building it out, and that's a capital ship. They're really huge. This is going to be the whole second floor, and then this will all come out to a point, a nose type thing, kind of like Voyager, the nose at least. And then there will be a big cockpit that will come up off the top of this a little bit. There'll be a cockpit. There'll be turrets all down the side. That's why I've left this open space right here. There'll be turrets there. There'll be turrets on top of there. You can see the windows on the side look all fancy. But anyhow, we've got the stuff we need. So let's boogie on down to the planet, and I will, see you when I get there. And we will do the ground vessel and go over the basics of that, and that will be the end of the episode. So let's go build a ground vessel, and I'll be right back. All right. I popped back in here because we're about to enter the atmosphere of the planet. I don't know if any of you haven't seen that yet on this game. So another thing, if you know about where you're located, your base or whatever, you can kind of fly in towards that area and it'll start you pretty close to your base. Now, I'm not sure where our base is, to be honest with you, because I've only come in and out of here a couple times. But you'll get to see the transition of us coming out from outer space, and then there's a pause. And I've got a lot of stuff going on in the background, so that's why there was a little bit longer delay there. But then you come in and you go find your place where you live. Let's see. We can bring up the map. Where's the base? There it is. So we came in way over here on the wrong side of the planet. But it's okay, because you can follow these two towers. There's a tower, and then another tower. Ooh, copper. I need to get that copper before I leave, because we need copper. We just ran out. Now, a lot of people have been asking me in the stream, this has been a pretty big question on Twitch, is what do you do when you run out of resources? Well, you go to another planet. There are 4 planets in the system right now, 3 planets, 1 moon actually. And you can leave here and go into space and land on like the ice planet. All of the deposits you've been picking up here on this planet are all size-wise about 4 or 5s. They're all really, really small deposits. You get 700, 800, 600, 500, whatever from these guys. There's the base. You can see it over there. You get, you know, 600 or 700 ore or something like that out of one of these. You go onto the other planets and you start running into things like size level 15 mineral nodes, 18 mineral nodes, things like that. And those guys, you're literally there 25, 30 minutes mining 6, 7, 8, 10,000 ore from them. They're huge, massive. I've built everything that you see, plus that ship in space. We've built about a dozen of these little small vessels that we've either built and destroyed or built and whatever. And there's tons and tons and tons of ore out there on those other planets to use. So you just go to one of those other planets and you can get the ore, and we're coming in here now and we're going to land on this platform. We're going to turn on V, drive forward, hold Alt, you can look above you to see down, and we're just going to land this thing, and we're going to move it over a little bit so it's out of the way. Hit down, we're going to turn it off, hit F to jump out of it. Get V to go back into first person. Turn my jetpack off or on. There we go. Alright, so we're on the planet. Now let's build a small ground vessel. Alright, you need to take your ground vessel starter block, of course, and now you can place it. So you place it. You don't have to have a fancy platform like I've got. This is just what I use. Now, one thing that most people neglect is the concept of putting additional thrusters on the ground vessel for up and down. You need additional thrusters to go up. A lot of people don't realize this, but you do. You hear people complaining all the time, my ground vessel, I can't get it off the ground, it's running into stuff, it's doing this, it's doing that, I'm bouncing all over the place. Every time I hit a twig or a twitch or anything on the ground, it's because they haven't built their ground vessel with enough down thrusters. In other words, thrusters pointing down that make the ship go up. If you don't have more than 2, or at least 2, you can't go up. So it won't go up very far. So we're going to put one on the front, the back, the left, and the right. Now we're putting directional thrusters on the left, the right, and down. And then we're going to put these big thrusters on the back, like so, and then we're going to put one on the front. That way we move forwards and backwards faster, and then it'll slow us down a little bit for the other directions. Now sometimes you get that little gap right there, so you can figure out how to get around it in other ways. So let's take the cockpit now. We need a cockpit. Put the cockpit on. We need power. Stand up. Stand up. Which way goes up? There we go. Excuse me, I just hiccuped. Alright. Now we need a fuel tank and an RCS. It's exactly the same process as we had with the small vessel. Alright, as of right now, this is a completed ground vessel. This will fly. Now you can deck it all out and make it all big and whatnot like so. And there you go, and we can bring all this out like so, and make it all like a big square platform if you want to. We can go like this, and you can hold control. We can bring it out to here. There we go. I mean, you can design these any way you want to. It's all up to your own creativity. I'd show you the magic school bus, but we lost it in a crash last night, and I'm in contact now with the devs trying to figure out how to restore it. So let's put some fuel in there, and then you can hop into it, turn it on, and then you'll notice we're stuck in the platform. Alright, what happened was because I had built it on the base, There's a glitch right now, apparently, that sometimes when you build ground vessels on bases, they get hung up. So what I did was I just kept pushing forward on it, and then I used shift for my booster. And my booster in space, if you hold shift and then space bar, watch. I'm holding shift. Notice how it lights up white. You hold space, it makes you shoot up in the air like that to use your booster. So notice that I'm off the ground now. So now we can get going. Like right there's a plant. If you've got enough thrusters up underneath you to get you off the ground, notice how I didn't hit it. You have to watch out for the stalks, but the basic stuff over the ground, you're okay in a ground vessel. And you can always hold spacebar to keep yourself up off the ground, to get yourself a little further up. You can hold control and then or shift and then hit space, and it'll make your booster go off, and it'll take you way up, like if you want to jump over a little chasm or something. But as you can see, we're only doing about 24 miles per hour. So we can take and come back here maybe, and since I made 2 more of those thrusters, let me hit V. There we go. We can let's try putting those on the back and see what happens. Now I can turn my jump pack on, get up there. We can hit V again to get out, scroll back some. And now watch. Now we're doing about the same. So I guess the maximum ground speed is 24.8 for the ground vessels, which is smart. But notice how it kind of hovers really well now. That's because it's got 2 thrusters up underneath it. If you didn't put those extra thrusters up underneath it, you're going to drag the dirt. But see how I'm above the ground a pretty good bit? I can get around, and you're not going to have that flipping and flopping and funky feeling. And then to get it back up here to park, hold shift and hit space. And then we're up here. And now we can get lined up with our left using our directional thrusters. Get it all lined up perfect. Hit J or V to go inside, hit Y to turn it off, and it'll drop to the ground. And then hit F to jump out. And I fell out into the ground. And there we go. Done. So that, folks, is how to build a ground vessel, a small vessel, and the basics covering a capital vessel. Now, symmetry mode. In order to perform symmetry mode, you hold in, and it brings up your symmetry plane. You can choose like YZ, and while holding in with a block or a diagonal hold on, in use, you can click to change where the plane is going to be based off. Then you let go of in, and anything you build will build on both sides of the plane in symmetry. You can do the same thing with XZ, hold in, and you can shift the symmetry plane up and down, and then you can do it with the XY plane, which would be this way. And you can shift it left and right while holding in and using a block or a diagonal or a building thing. That's how to enable symmetry mode. All right, guys, hope this video helps. If any of you guys that were having trouble, hope you get beyond it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if it helped you. And if you noticed anything that I said or did wrong, please comment. Let me know so that I can remedy it and fix it. And have a great day.